Hello, Titan.
Hello, my friend. It's very good seeing you and talking to you today.
Same with you too. I mean, I love the online meetings, to be honest. It gives
Yeah,
a sense of more connection. Okay, so I will start
absolutely.
right away with the gazillion of questions I have for you.
I'm happy.
So, how long did you work on König und Kaiser?
Relatively short, actually.
Oh,
We heard that the Walkings might take us on tour. I think we heard that in June 2023. And I mean, when you hear, you could probably have an album out at the end of March 2024. At first, you think, oh, that sounds like lots of time, actually. Which it is not. So we started working right away. We had no songs at all at that point of time, and we worked really our asses off. I can't put it any better. And I think within 7 weeks, roughly 7 weeks, we had like 15 new songs. The 15th never got finished because it didn't work. So we ended up having 14 songs, and we recorded all 14 songs towards the end of, or even no, towards the beginning of September. So that was a very short period of time. Yeah, I think when you look back on what bands did in the 1980s, when you had like Saxon having two albums in 2000, in 1980, or Judas Priest having two albums in 1978. So I think the bands practically did the same back in the day. They just got whatever they had out of their system, put it on the album, and the album was good. So I think we did the same.
well, back then they also had the budget, right? They didn't have enough money, so they had to go in the studio and bam, bam, finish the record right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, especially in Saxon's case and in Motorhead's case, you definitely know that there was not that much money. Yeah.
Correct. So basically, you just said that the band needs a kick in the behind to get into the studio, right?
Well. I don't know. Maybe you need that. I can't. You. I mean, we all work best under pressure, or maybe at least I work best under pressure, and I am the kind of a guy. I mean, if I can tell that story, we will release a video in 1 week, which will be the title track, König und Kaiser. And we shot the video in Austria, so we went to a different country for the first time to shoot a video. And it is a bit more tricky to organize things when you just cannot go there for an hour and talk with people, but you have to organize everything with phone calls and mails and whatever. And I must say that it was well. We shot the video. We started shooting the video on Saturday, and we needed an indoor location, and we found that in early Thursday afternoon. So that was quite short notice, so to speak. Yeah, but it worked out really well. It couldn't have been any better, really. And sometimes you really need to feel that danger that you might fail to get some extra boost of energy. And it would really, I think it's gonna be the best video we ever made. It's been a fantastic time, but it was super close. Well,
So I think with stress, and I will end this here, is it makes you more focused, at least in my case. So you remove everything else and you're 100% focused. So for the video you just said, since the band went to Austria, is it right to say that there will be a castle involved?
it's very tricky going to Austria without having a castle involved. Yes, and we even have mountains, and there is snow. So yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we know. I might take away one question that you probably will ask later, but of course we have the Tribune from War Kings on the album singing on the title song König und Kaiser with me, and as we wanted to have him in the video as well, and he was super busy because he landed from 70,000 tons of steel on Saturday, I think, evening, and we had him do the video Sunday afternoon. So that, I mean, I will be forever grateful that he did that, because that was really stressful for him. And he did a fantastic performance, and so we knew that we would definitely need to come to Austria and have everything close together in a way, because there's another person she's playing the female lead role in the video, and she lives in Austria. So we knew that it would be impossible to have all the people come to our place. So we just found whatever place is in the middle, and we decided to go there, and everybody came together and did their part. But it was very, very inspiring.
So who did the concept for the video?
Actually, for strange reasons, it seems that I did it, and I've never done that before. Ooh, okay. Yeah. The good thing is, I am sometimes playing in another band which is called Lord Vigo, and one of the guitarists, one of the guitarists is me. The other guitarist is called Christian, and he goes by Volgus Zildroa. But Christian has started being a full-time video producer now, I think one and a half years ago. So he does everything. Whenever your company needs an image movie, he's the guy to talk to. When you need a music video, he's the guy to talk to. When you need something with a drone flying over your building, he's the guy to talk to. And he's very, very talented. And the good thing is we've known each other for many years, and he lives practically around the corner. And when it came to this video, Milkowitsky, who usually does our videos, just didn't have the time. So that was scheduling conflicts, and we said, okay, might it be a sign? Just give Christian a shot and let's try 1 or 2 videos and see if it works or not. I mean, it's always a matter of taste. And we started doing the videos. We did Hailed by the Hammer first, which was an enlightened experience because it was 5 degrees below zero when we had to stand out there, Celsius, with short sleeves and nothing underneath, which was wonderful for 2 days. Nevertheless, we never got sick from it, which is really a miracle. And then we did the second video, The Devil Will I Do, on this German castle that we got relatively around the corner. And the guy who runs the castle is super supportive when it comes to rock and metal bands. So Saltatio Mortis have also shot a video there because everybody knows he's helpful. And we did that, and we provoked the firehouse to come by with 6 trucks because we had some fog around, and they told us that the fire detectors were not linked with the firehouse, but it was not true. So we had everybody come, and we're so scared because if we had paid them, we'd probably have lost like 10,000 euros. Gladly, they didn't charge us the money because they believed us. I mean, we really didn't know. We asked for permission, we got it. It was wrong. Anyway, so we did these 2 very, very intense weekends with Christian, and in the end it became apparent that the chemistry was really super fantastic. And for the first time ever, it was interesting for me to have insight in doing the videos and actually just asking simple questions like, would it make sense to do this? Do you think that's nice? Usually he says, no, it doesn't make sense. And sometimes he says, yes, good. And then when we decided to do König Und Kaiser in Austria, for whatever reason, he was so busy that he couldn't really start working on the story for the video, for the concept. And as I really got nervous because there were people from outside the band involved, which, I mean, you do not want to drag them into your chaos. You want to give them a good impression. So I started talking with him and said, let's trade ideas back and forth. And so we sat there at the McDonald's and really wrote down some pages of ideas. Later, when the female lead actress came and asked me, what's the concept of the video? Just told her, well, that's the idea.
Here's a napkin.
Basically, it wasn't a napkin, but it wasn't much better. And so actually, it was very close to being a napkin. We almost didn't find paper. It would have been a napkin, but anyway, we're professional. We had paper. Yeah. And so in the end, we talked about the concept, and she was dressed in a beautiful, beautiful regal robe, like an empress from Austria. She looked... And we went to the places up in the hills where the snow and the ice was still there. And then when it works well, usually it happens this way, that you stand there and see the scenery and ideas will start just happening. And therefore we had at least 2/3 of what we did in the video was never in the script. And we did not do all that was in the script, but I think whatever we did was fantastic. And the chemistry between the people was fantastic. She was lovely, and she was very, very motivated to do whatever we wanted. And basically, so we worked for 2 days straight. and had beautiful images. Christian got a new camera for 10,000 euros, which is incredible, but it's a cinema standard. So it's really, really looking fantastic. And now we're busy again because we have to finish the cut over the weekend to release the video on Tuesday. But as always, as you said, be focused when you're under pressure.
However, I have to give you the band credit, lots of credit, because based on how you described the making of the album, making of the videos, it sounds like, yes, there was a lot of stress, but you did it, man. You did it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We absolutely agree upon the fact that when it's happening, when you feel that there is work to be done, you can be very motivated and very focused. And I think if you lose the fear, the panic that you might fail, then you're open for creativity. And I think, therefore, for me, this is the best experience we have had as a band so far, because we knew the time, we kept the time, and we fully bloomed despite the pressure, actually.
I feel there is a book there to write how you can overcome your stress and use your creative, but anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is an album that follows the story of the Hammer Kick, right?
Yes, as always.
So how different is to write music when you have a concept? What comes first, maybe, is the right question, the concept or the music?
Always the music. Always the music. That's usually that's the answer that I always give whenever somebody asks us, did you write a concept album or would you write a concept album? And I always say there is two kinds of concept albums. The one concept album is Operation Mindcrime, where you really have the storyline and the musical flow, and I think you could not change a single thing. It is perfect for the story and it's perfect for the music. But there is so many concept albums, even, and I'm being totally honest with you, even if it's huge classics like Pink Floyd's The Wall, like Sabotage, Streets, a rock opera, it's fantastic albums, no question. But if you're very, very honest, the order of the music is not perfect. With The Wall, there's very many short songs that have no flow, and with Streets, there's too many slow songs at the beginning, so it starts steaming up in the middle. It's absolutely okay because it's a classic, but if I was to release an album, I would always want to have the sequence of the music first, and therefore for us it's very helpful that basically we write the lyrics very, very late in the process, and at the same time we do not do concept albums but themed albums, which means that there's like short stories in the same direction, but there's no strict order for the song. So therefore you can always order them according to the music that gives you, probably the music decides itself what song to put first and what song to put last. And yeah, and then of course everybody knows there is the vinyl, so you need to be able to split it roughly in half. You cannot have 5 long songs on side A and 5 short songs on side B, so there is not that much decision. I sequenced it with Napalm together this time, and honestly, being under such a strict schedule, I did not even talk with the band, which was new, and I was very sorry about it. I said, sorry guys, I really didn't mean to just overrun you. It's simply, Napalm asked me, we talked about it, and after that it was basically settled. But there was no choice. We had agreed upon Hailed by the Hammer being the opening track, and we knew that Gates of Atlantia will be the final track. So basically, the rest of the songs, more or less, you can't really change them, because otherwise the vinyl split will not be possible. So therefore it was easy.
So just because Gates of Atlantia was the longest one, it had to be on side B, right?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to, but I think usually when you look at Jack Panther's albums, for example, they always have the epic song last, be it the Crucifix, Judgment Day, the Moors, whatever it is. So we basically do the same.
Yeah, you have to close the story in a bombastic way. I
Yeah.
understand. However, you had you said 4 songs, and I think you have those as bonus tracks, but you didn't mean to write them. I hate the term side Bs. It's so demeaning for the songs, but
Yeah, I totally agree here. I mean, I'm an old Halloween fan, so when you're an old Halloween fan, you know that there is bands where you can find true magic on the B-sides and the bonus tracks. If you think of Savage, Living Ain't No Crime, Save Us, for Christ's sake, that's the best song on the album, close to best song. So whatever. In our case, we wrote 14 songs, and we knew that we would like to keep it down to 10 songs, because otherwise it's getting too long for vinyl anyway. Correct. And so we decided upon 10 tracks, which was very tricky, because there's one song where we knew that would be a bonus track, because it's not entirely up to the standard. It's a good song, but it's not an essential track. So that would be the typical B-side. When you play it, you say, wow, that's good. Why didn't they put it on the album? And if you put it on the album, you would say, well, that's the weakest track anyway. So we had one typical bonus track and 3 songs that we had to get rid of in order to have 10 songs. And then, of course, there is one rule for us. We are a heavy metal band, so we want to have power in the music, which means that all the slow songs, epic songs, basically have to be narrowed down to 1 or 2 for the album. And as we knew we would like to have Kings of Arabia on the album, and there certainly will be Gates of Atlantia, there was a 3rd song with a German title again called Endgegner, something like the final opponent in your battle. And that's a fantastic song. The problem is just it has a very slow build-up, and it's very long. So we knew it's going to be either this or Gates of Atlantia, and then it was out of the question. So we had to keep this one off, which is sad. And then there was 2 other songs, one being Firehammer, which is only on vinyl, and it features D. Dammers from UDO, from Udo Dirkschneider's band, on lead guitar. Fantastic contribution, but the song would not fit the flow of the other songs. It's not even weaker, it just didn't really work in the context, so we kept it as a bonus track. And the other thing is, and I think our bass player Günd will always hate me for that, it's one of his favorite tracks called The Last of the Seven Wars. And I agree, it's a fantastic song. But again, it did not really sit well between the other songs. So we decided, within the short time that we had, we decided, let's make it Save Us. Take it out of the album context and put it after Keeper of the Seven Keys. And everybody will say, what a fantastic song. But you can't squeeze it in between the others. So we did exactly that. And I agree, it's not saying that the songs are inferior to the others. It's just that you have 10, and some of the 10 songs work better together.
Did you think of keeping those for the next album, maybe?
It's not entirely out of the question. Okay. I mean, we will not release Endgegner now, or maybe there's going to be like a digital EP or something, or maybe a physical EP. You never know what happens.
Physical, please, physical.
I hate digital. I absolutely hate it. But I mean, the labels, they do not invest practically the same money in a product with 3 songs, and they have the same thing for 10 songs. But I would absolutely love that as a 7-inch vinyl for whatever. So that would be nice. And there, Endgegner would be a fantastic title track where you clearly say, what an interesting thing. But it's a bit like the odd man out. It's not a typical Hammer King song. So I personally thought we want to have an album that gives you the fist in your face, start to finish, and then end on this epic note. And there's no room for going up and down all the time. So we had to get the slow one out, actually.
For Kings of Arabia, I think you pushed a little bit your vocals, because there is where the choirs are. You're doing something like a wave with your voice.
Yeah. You are the first one to ask, and I'm very happy that somebody realizes this. I mean, we were doing tongue in cheek, actually. There is a fantastic Austrian band called EAV, which stands for Erste Allgemeine Verunsicherung, which means something like First Official Anti-Insurance Company. That would be the thing in English. And they had a song called Fata Morgana, which has nothing to do with Fate's Warnings Fata Morgana, but they had these over-the-top arabesque vocals that were sung by men supposed to sound like women, and we absolutely love the song because it's very radical. And when we did Kings of Arabia, I just joked in the rehearsal room, and our drummer Dolph, he is sometimes the radical guy. He said, "Oh, you have to record that. Please do that." And we did it. And then when we had this Arabic sounding guitar thing that I found by coincidence, a friend of mine had it, and I said, "I need it for the studio, please, for one day." And we recorded that, and we did the horrible work finding out all the improvised pseudo female vocals and double them with this mystical guitar thing. So that was more work than the rest of the song, but it's absolutely worth it. As the Pretty Maid said, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So we really wanted to have a song that sonically is very, very different from the rest. And I think it's a love it or hate it song. There's people who say, I don't get it, but honestly, there's many people in the interviews who talk about that song, and most people.
I love that song, man.
It's probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I always tell the story about the guitar solo. We had this middle part, and the middle part is 3 sections that are not anywhere in the song, which is rare for us because we had a jam session. The drummer and I would only play as 2 people and jam through the song, and we liked the progression so much that we kept it and didn't change it, just from the first jam session. And then when we did the proper demo, I said, we need to have a guitar solo that sounds something like Richie Blackmore, like Russ the Boss playing Richie Blackmore playing Stargazer, something like this. And I said, just give me a second, I will record just anything, just that we remember when we do it 2 weeks later. And I recorded 1 bloody take. And this take has not been cut or corrected. It's the only take that I did. And by coincidence, it was perfect. And I said, I need to have this demo take on the album because I do not want to play it again. The spirit was good. And gladly Charles in the studio could secure my shabby recording and polish it up. And therefore, it's really the only take I ever did. And therefore, I must say I love the song very much because I will always remember the joy of just having something perfect with the first try ever.
Now I'm curious, will the band ever play Kings of Arabia live?
I totally think that we will do so. Because at least Dolph and I would absolutely like to do it, and at the same time we have one guy from France. He did an interview with us, and he will be at the Rising Fest in Lyon, France, and he loves Kings of Arabia. And he said, what do I have to do that you play Kings of Arabia at the Rising Fest? And I said, you just did it. You demanded it. And I will use it against the band and say, we have to play it because there is somebody who's a fan and he's from the press. So we have to please him. And I think we will play it there. And okay, I have to figure out the guitar solo for that
So
occasion.
count me in the vote. So you have 2 people.
Absolutely, gladly. So late when we come to your place, and it would be very nice to do it because I think it's an interesting song as it is. It is tongue in cheek, slightly over the top, but truly epic at the same time. And for me, it totally works musically because it's different, and I really like that song.
I think it expands the Hammer King sound. Let's say that.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it was an absolute pleasure recording that song.
However, when you promised when coming to my place, I'm in Chicago in the US. So my question is, have there been any discussions about Hammer King coming to the US? Although I do understand things are very, very expensive at the time being.
There have been no discussions because there's been no offer to come to the United States so far. We have signed with Extra Tours, which is a fantastic booking agency. They do basically much work here in Central Europe, and I really hope that they will get us the chance to go to as many places as possible. For me, it sounds logical to say build up the band in Europe, then go to probably South America first because that's an easy market. They're very much into metal, and then try to go to North America, to the North American continent. So if it's up to us, we will absolutely do that because, first of all, there is nothing better than playing music. And second of all, we love being at different countries. And I remember when I was the vocalist for Ross the Boss, we did quite some countries. it was so life-giving to be in Greece, to be in Finland, to be in England, to be in the United States, to be in Italy, Spain, wherever, all the different countries. Very, very interesting to meet different people. And what brings us together is the love for this strange music. And you always have a basis to really communicate with people. And there's always a certain mindset or a certain heart that is connected to each other. And I don't think you find that in other music directions.
You just described the metal scene.
I think so, yeah. And I think it's really, I mean, everybody in metal always says we have got the best scene in the world, but somebody has the best scene in the world, and I think it is metal. Yeah. I played different styles of music in my earlier years, and it's not comparable. So this is really different. It's far better. It is a scene. It's a community worldwide.
It is a community, although sometimes it gets not good, but it's amazing. Being in a different country, not even speaking the same language, but you are doing the same headbanging with everyone else.
Absolutely. I remember one very interesting story. No, actually it's two. This band that I'm wearing here around my wrist, it's not really, it's almost like synthetics. It's plastic basically. And I've been wearing it for 17 years now without taking it off, because I used to be in a band and we played Ecuador and Peru. And in the first show in Ecuador, after the show, I mean, we played for 70 minutes and we did photos for 2 hours. That was normal down there. And there was one guy who went straight through the crowd. He came to me, grabbed my hand, fixed this around my wrist and said, keep. And I said, yes, I will keep it. Keep. I said, yes. And then he turned around, said, gracias, and he went away. And I never saw him again, and I never took it off, and it's a wonderful story. I have a link to a person in Ecuador. I don't even know the name, but it's going to be there probably for the rest of my life. And that's really fantastic. And at the same time, I remember, I think that was Peru, not Ecuador, where we played somewhere in a place on 3,000 meters or so. And there were people who came there, they did not even speak Spanish. They spoke Quechua, some of the remaining people who spoke this Inca language. And I think he didn't know that we were from Germany. He didn't even understand that we did not even speak Spanish. He came and talked to us in Quechua. We didn't understand a single word. But it was very nice that this man opened up his heart and shared the passion for music. Whatever he said, it was friendly, and I mean, it's very special.
Man, you gave me goosebumps, because this kind of the way music can bring everybody together, it's amazing. And I hope people don't forget, because we had the 2 years with the pandemic.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, I know, man.
That was the worst time ever.
Yeah, I get that. And I can see in your face how you light up when you're talking about live music. So that to me is very important, very powerful. So you mentioned the tour in Europe, and then you have the festival season. How the rest of the year is looking for Hammer King?
I don't know the exact amount of shows that we have lined up yet, and we have not played a single show this year. So I think there's going to be at least maybe 25 shows that will come up that are carved in stone so far. And having signed with the booking agency, I really hope that they will give us work in autumn probably, and hopefully there is an affordable tour that we can do in autumn and be on the road a second time this year, to really push things as far as possible, and then be able to build it up, and yeah, you have to build up the band in order to come to different countries. There has to be a name and a reputation. I really hope that we can get that. We will use that every chance that they give us.
Last question. You were involved in the producing with Charles, correct?
Yeah, so to speak. I mean, when we started having productions with Charles, we called him producer and sound engineer, and over the years, it just became apparent that there is not that much to produce when it comes to Hammer King. First of all, we have basically settled mostly everything on the demo already. So we are this band that does not try things in the studio, but we just go there and record everything properly that we tried and figure out on the demo. And if there is anything to change, it has turned that out that way over the years, that we that I am the guy who is trying to have an overview above everything and sort of taking care and the responsibility that in the end we have a finished album, and therefore by definition this is what a producer does. So deciding upon musical things, not sound wise, not playing wise, but the musical direction. So the musical director would be me, and therefore beginning with King Demonium, we decided that it's okay to give me the name of co-producer, because I can do that, and it would be very stupid not to put it on the album, because I could work for other people as well. But if I never write it on the album, I will never be able to work it. So we decided to just name it that. Well, for Christ's sake, it's not a big deal.
I will squeeze one more question.
Absolutely.
What about what is the latest from Lord Vigo?
Well, Lord Vigo has, for the first time in their very, very motivated career, they had to wait a bit, because first of all, I was very busy, and at the same time Christian started being a full-time video producer, so he was very busy too. And so that makes 2 busy guys out of 3 core members, which means that there was not really much time for Lord Vigo, which usually never happened before. But at the same time, I felt I found it positive that we had a bit of distance in between the albums, which in Hammer King always happens, because we have a break between the albums, while Lord Vigo usually works all the time. And I thought it's helpful to start things maybe a bit with a fresh view on things. And well, we started working a couple of weeks ago, whenever there is time, which is not that often right now, but there is an interesting and strange project coming up, because we have decided upon recording songs that we used to work on together when the 3 of us were part of a different band. We used to be in a wave band before Lord Vigo, and there's been very cool songs that never saw the light of day because the band just blew up somehow, and then we got together and became Lord Vigo. And we always thought that the songs were far too good not to release them, and at first we thought maybe we should just Lord Vigo-nize them and make them epic metal, but in the end we basically kept them very close to what they originally were. And so it's gonna be a product where everybody will be informed that this is not a regular Lord Vigo album, but Lord Vigo doing something like, it's not a side project, but something like a different story just for the fun of it. And strangely, surprisingly, what I've heard so far is really, really, really very good. And Vince, the vocalist, he's one of these guys, like the same happened with me when I sang on Hailed by the Hammer, which basically is more like a Nevermore song, actually. And the same happened with Freddie Mercury. Whenever he sang a soul song, a dance floor song, or a hard rock song, it always sounded like Queen, because the voices are distinct. And therefore, even the wave songs that Lord Vigo have recorded now, strangely, they don't even sound like a wave band anymore. It sounds like Lord Vigo, although it's very different. I think it's nice. I would have been against it hadn't it been good, and it's really good.
So is this gonna be an independent release, high roller? How you don't know?
I think that High Roller will hear it, and my nose tells me that they might be interested in it.
Okay.
Not declare it a regular album, probably, and therefore it might be an independent release. Let's see what happens, but it's very, very good, and it's a long album again, as always with Lord Vigo. The albums are far too long.
Well, man, you can have Lord Vigo supporting Hammer King.
Absolutely. First of all, we have to make Hammer King big enough to need support, but of course that would be interesting. A wonderful idea. Why not? Like Halloween.
Thank you very much for your time. Have safe travels.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Great shows, and hopefully we will cross paths again.
We will play Chicago as soon as we can.
Absolutely. I will call you back if you don't.
Yeah, please do that. And Kings of Arabia in Chicago.
Thank you, man. Have a great day.
Great day to you. All the best. See you in the future.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.